This is the XNC Podcast, your Xbox newscast, featuring Colteastwood and Gaz, hosting industry interviews and gaming talk live on YouTube every Monday night at 5 p.m. on the West Coast, 8 p.m. on the East Coast. For all of you listening around the world, XNC Podcast is available on demand on Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. Welcome to the show. Join the chat, hit the like button, and let's get into this week's topics with the Xbox newscast. There we go. Oh my gosh. How's everybody doing? This is the XNC Podcast, like I said. I said it pre-recorded, but I'm here wearing a PAX shirt. Why? Because PAX is a week old, but we've got hot news today. Guys, we got hot news today.
I apologize in advance for my levels of sauciness. I think I annoyed a few people, and I'm not sorry. Let's get into it. Sorry. This is a weird moment where we'll get into it. And it's bad news for someone, good news for something. Let's just go into it.
We'll talk about your tweet, my tweet, all the things that went on. We'll tread lightly. We'll tread where we need to, won't we, guys?
Yeah.
But, I should give an introduction. I'm Colteastwood, and this is the Colteastwood channel, and I do an Xbox-centric channel for video game news, but I also just started this podcast about a year ago, and I'm here with my co-host, Gaz from Game On Daily. Gaz, how are you doing? Come on.
I am doing very well. I've been on the receiving end of some I'm a naughty boy. I am a naughty boy, Captain Chats. And you know what? At least I keep it real. And there's Ice Cold in the chat ready to damage control. You know what? I'm going to be insufferable. If you guys are Halo stands, just leave right now. But if you like the truth, stay. Because we're going to get into it.
If you love Halo and you like to damage control, stay, because I'll cover you on that side too. No, it will be good, actually. There's a lot to talk about. I don't want to jump into it too quick because it's always nice to dip into a big bowl of hot oatmeal nice and slow, and we're going to do that. But I got to give I got to give a shout out to the channel veterans and Patreon veterans that are supporting the show, like Brian Harris, Mark Carwell, KY Bob, Sassam Lupa, Jazzy Noop Box, Wiki Fallon, Stephen Smith, Christine Maurice Baker, Matt Without Fear. And then on the members, we've got Matt Burns, William Lanza, Nanopolymyth, Udana Kizada, Robert Jackson, Lord Star Killer, Dante Moody, Betamax, Dark CMF, Gaz, Fox Storytelling, Wreak Havoc, Faultline, Zenner White, Devario 2, Blue, Poochie, Remix Gaming, V Simcoe, Assassin, Raymond G, Dub, Larry Thatcher, Hargeet Shawnee, TK Chillin, Raiden Blade, Acute Perspective, True 77, Risk It for the Biscuit, and Widio Santasso. And some of you I have started to chat with on the XNC Gaming Club on Xbox, where we can play games like Halo Infinite. But actually, I want to say real quick, Gaz, we've been playing a little game together that everyone's loved for years, but we're finding a new home. I want to talk about that for just a second. Tell people what we've been playing. Fraud us out, would you?
Oh, man. You say, hey, that's not frauding yet. I told these guys, hey, it's fun, and they made fun of me. It's Fortnite. I got into that game because of the Dragon Ball Z skins, and
it looks dank.
It is dank. The Dragon Ball Z skins are dank. But the game is fun. Look, if you're sleeping on it, thinking it's a kid's game, especially with the no build mode now, you're doing it wrong. As someone who almost exclusively plays multiplayer games, who loves Battle Royale, who played Apex Legends, Warzone, all of those Battle Royale games, PUBG, Fortnite is amazing. It's actually really polished. So much like it's just jokes. Like you have banter.
It's so beautiful
with
too.
So many people.
It looks and feels great. You can see why it has mass appeal. I didn't want to take too much time because I noticed that like when we tweeted about us playing Fortnite, you tweeted a recording of us in the lobby doing like the emotes, and it's really funny, but no one cares. Like I noticed on Twitter, like it got like 30 likes. Like I was like, yeah, Fortnite, whatever. But just let me say, we've had so much fun, and you can really see why. Right?
It is. It's a fun game. Please, don't sleep on it because it's Call of Duty. Because it's Fortnite. Sorry, Call of Duty. So yeah, it's wicked. I haven't played Apex Legends for about 3 months, by the way, just to let you know. I
had $10 of Microsoft rewards that I banked in from getting achievements, and I'm like, what's this V-Bucks thing? So I spent like $8. Anyway, we've been enjoying it. But let me start off by talking about something quickly before we get into the Halo stuff. We just found out in the past hour or so, and partly today, that tomorrow is a Nintendo Direct, and then tomorrow is also a State of Play. So what can we expect?
I know.
Guys?
Well, it came
on the
out of
PlayStation
nowhere.
podcast.
Welcome to PlayStation Podcast, a podcast where we can actually talk about games. Source. No, PlayStation actually out of nowhere revealed that they are doing this State of Play. It's not a full-blown event, by the way, and quite cheekily, they actually replied under the Nintendo the eyes emoji and like, hey, and then they did their tomorrow. So the showcase itself is more that they specified Japanese centric focus, so there's that, but they also said they have a couple of surprises and whatnot. 20 minutes or so, so quite a short show, but I like
PSVR 2, right?
PSVR 2, which I'm personally very excited for, but it's tethered, which is less exciting. But yeah, so Nintendo and PlayStation, so goodness galore. So next, unfortunately not Xbox related, but it's like like A2 says, a mini E3 minus Xbox plus.
Yeah. It's still not that big showcase that everyone was talking about for September, but I mean, I guess maybe October they could have their big yearly blowout of what's going on.
I think PlayStation has a lot to show. 20 minutes, they can show a lot of Japanese stuff. I have a lot more faith in PlayStation. Although PlayStation, many of the State of Plays have been bad, -1, which is really good. The last one actually was really good. So I'm excited to see that. I also think Forspoken will be shown off, and I think Forspoken looks really good. I think it's good.
You know, IGN and the big outlets had a taste, like an hour of time with Forspoken. Yeah, okay, that's something I do now.
I was about to say that. Yeah, okay, that's something I do now. So I'm quite interested in that. But
yeah. Well, I mean, you're all here. We've got almost 400 people here checking out the XC podcast. Hit the like button if you're gonna have a good time. We are really excited. Smash it, because we're really excited to talk about this stuff and kind of on the edge of your seat, wanting to talk about what broke today. So yeah, hit that like button to show your support for Gaz and even me if you have a moment. But today, if you're in the US, this broke midday. I feel like I want you to lead this, because I could pull up the tweet, but like, how did this all go down? Because a week ago, the setup was like about a week ago, they announced their plans for season, was it 3? I can't. And how they're delayed and how co-op isn't quite ready and all this stuff. And it was a big hit, and everyone has pretty much had the... I'm going to give you the mic, I swear, Gaz. I'm not going to step on this part. I'm just doing the lead up. Everyone was kind of in the agreement in the overall community that they got back Phil's old quote from like 10 years ago, if we fail with Halo, we fail with Xbox, or something like that, right? And Halo wasn't looking good. Wasn't looking very good the past year, and now really bad. So what happened today?
Well, today it's something, I think, as horrible as it sounds, and please take it in the spirit that it's in. And I've got a video that I've just been editing, my take on it. But really, Bonnie Ross, a lot of Halo fans, primarily me on the forefront, I'll take the hit if I have to. I've been calling for management to be held accountable for the failings of Halo Infinite. And out of nowhere, while I was on Boom's show, it just broke the news that Bonnie Ross is leaving 343 Industries. Now, it's a bit bitter, and so just for the people who aren't on Twitter, my immediate gut reaction was jubilation. I retweeted. I said, "Yes, Halo can finally be good again," and people were really upset with that because of this one line where she's saying she'll be leaving 343. She said she'd hoped to stay until the winter update, but she'll be leaving 343 to attend a family medical issue. Now, whether it's a serious family medical issue or whatnot, family medical issue is quite broad. So, look, but obviously benefit of the doubt.
Same thing that Drew Murray said as well. When he was
Drew Murray said that family issue and then stepping in personal issues, and boom, 4 days later he's celebrating being at Insomniac and this is the best looking game ever. Yeah. Completely forgot. Look, I'm a cynic with this stuff. I know that to me, and and I'm not just saying that because I don't give a damn if you question whether or not I actually sympathize, because actually in my video I'll say Bonnie Ross did care for Halo. She genuinely cared for Halo. She wanted it to be the best it could be. She had high aspirations for it, but wanting something and actually achieving them or executing them are two different things. In my opinion, she failed. I do think this is tactical, like saying it's a like family medical issue so broad. That's my lawyer hat in me. Like if I'm going to push a statement, I could push that statement right now. My dad needs knee surgery, and I'm going to say family medical issue. I need to devote time with my family. I think the writing was on the wall there for her departure, because ultimately last week, as early as last week, we were asking, why is Bonnie Ross bulletproof? Why is Bonnie not bulletproof?
We've been saying that for like a year and a half. Yeah,
exactly. He's like, what's going on? Like, I like Bonnie Ross. I don't know her as a person, but you can tell, like, she was very earnest in the failings of Halo. She even said, the Halo 4 was poor in terms of multiplayer, 5 was bad instead of single player. She said that on live on stage. I'm trying to find the bloody show where she did that, but she said that nice live on stage. Yeah, it would
tough.
be nice in the video.
You don't often hear a leader admit their faults. Like they can allude to it on the roundabout way and still get their point across, but that's just straight up. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, so she did that. Look, 343 failed. There's still a failure, but ultimately, in order for Halo Infinite, for all Halo stands, if you want Halo to be right, then something fundamental needs to happen, and that is literally management. Unless we get this full and frank disclosure that we've been asking for or hoping for about what actually is going wrong at 343 and its heavy reliance on contractors and everything, almost every facet of Halo Infinite has gone wrong. So what has happened? Right now, we can only blame the management. So today, I went off, me and Jez Corden were having at it, because not having at it, but we were just, me and Jez seem to have a habit of just like
going back and forth.
Yeah. Back and forth. There wasn't a disagreement. There was initial disagreement. Jez Corden says that he thinks, what's it called? That Bonnie Ross gets unfairly piled on. He said genuinely believe. Genuinely believe Bonnie is unfairly scapegoated for the bad things that are going on with 343. It's too easy to ignore all the good. What good? She weathered the team through some of the most extraordinary circumstances, to which I replied, she is vicariously liable. Look, we had this before with Cyberpunk and 343. When I was like, I guess I'm a piece of when I blamed 343, Cyberpunk, I'm like, are the developers inept because the game is complete mess? Then I was rebuked for it and said, look, it's a management issue. Fine. I said, okay, you know what? I'll take that point aboard. Management set unrealistic expectations. It can't be on the developers. It must be the management. We wish the management actually came out and then took that L, took it on the chin and said, look, it's us. So what is it? Is it developers or is it management? Of course we're going to go blame the management. So people are being sympathetic because it's Bonnie, because it's family issues, whatnot. But ultimately, as gamers, as consumers, as someone who really, if it's not apparent to you, really cares about Halo, then you have to blame the management. There's no one else left. You have to, as much as the benefit you take from all the hype, all the praise we shower for you, you take on this seminal Halo, you take the negatives with that cult, man. You have to take it. If you failed, and I am quite confident Bonnie Ross resigns to the reality that she failed the Halo legacy. I would love to have a chat with her about it. I know she may hate me for my critique, but on a level, I think I could have a proper chat with her and just heart to heart. Look, you didn't do things right. Maybe a multitude of reasons. Now, Jez Corden said one good thing. One thing that I agree with. Sorry.
Yeah. After his first tweet,
Yeah, which is
you have a lot to say, Gaz.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
No,
this is the Gas Show. We're changing it. Sorry, I'm such a
the GNC, Gaz Network channel. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, chat. I know my voice can be grating as well, but Jez was also saying that look, who else would you blame? I asked him who's to blame for Halo's missteps ever since 343 took over. Because in my opinion, the moment 343 took over, Halo went boom, downwards. He said, and I agree with this point, she has some, well, not some blame to shoulder. I think a lot of the blame, but he blames Matt Booty. He says even Phil Spencer and Chris Lee. And I think there's truth to that. Because
let me interject with that part, because I do agree with Jez when he said that she's unfairly becoming the scapegoat. I think kind of the words he was using, like she's taking the fall. And we have to remember, audience and chat who's hanging out with us, and thank you for being here. Like, seriously, we love to have the opportunity to talk about that, and thanks for being here to help us cover this discussion. That the heads and designers and creative directors of 343 have been on these streams, and they've been on these video updates about what's going on, right? They've been there, they set up the cameras, and they've said point blank, we haven't delivered, we're doing our best, we've fallen below expectations. They've said all these things that are very difficult to say as the head of a product in a studio. And we've said, like, come on, when's the stuff coming out? And then they have another update, and they said, we've fallen behind, we've let down, we haven't met expectations, right? So at this point, guys, I feel like they've done everything they can to apologize, make excuses, explain why they're behind.
I don't agree.
And then
I don't agree. I don't agree with that. I don't agree that they've made enough. Hey, with the last week, you saw what's it? Joseph Staten and the two chaps sitting next to each other. I didn't see the kind of apology that I think would warrant.
Well, I mean, I heard things like one of the creative directors said, I don't have these positions right as far as names, but he said we want to do good. Like, he's like, we want to do better. That's what he said. And I'm sitting there, and I've had my frustrations about Halo. I've kind of gotten to the point where I'm like, I don't really mind anymore. I don't play the games. I don't play it anymore. Like, they haven't given me enough to keep going. So I've moved on to other things. I'm looking forward to the next big game, right? So I've just kind of like, I'm not going to have diarrhea and stomach problems over this at all. Like, I'm done, right?
I'm having diarrhea and stomach problems for it. And people, even today in DMs, are like, just shut up, stop talking about it. Don't play something else. Like,
hear me out. Like, they say this, like, we want to do better. And I'm like, but you should be doing better. You have the budget, you have the resources. And then I'm hearing from a good friend of mine that one of the reasons why the maps aren't being delivered is because they had a contractor. This may be total bullcrap, so let me just pretend like it's bullcrap. That way I don't get quoted as this being a real thing. But I heard that one of their map creator team was a studio in Russia, and they had to cut them off, so to speak. I could have somebody jump in and help me out with that. But you have to wonder how all these things keep failing. And then they sit in front of us a week and a half ago and say, we want to do better. It's like, you want to do better? Like, you have the biggest IP in gaming history. Like, you literally have one of the biggest IPs, and you're giving it the almost good enough, or I hope this is good enough treatment.
It's embarrassing. You don't do that. You don't do that. Hoggy, thank you for the $10 super chat. He's quite on the ball there. He says, could care less if she's gone. Well, okay. However, the issues
Read the whole thing.
He says, could care less that she's gone. However, the issues are all over the place, and blame goes all the way to the top at Microsoft. By the way, she's done a lot to expand Halo, not just in the games. Absolutely. Sure. So, yeah. He's right, and we'll go into who's actually replacing her shortly. But I just want to talk about this mindset that, look, if you take on the seminal franchise that made Xbox what it is today, you have to have a mindset. Look, I'm confident if I was there in some shape or form, I would say to them, no, we want to deliver a game that these spoiled pieces of have no excuse whatsoever. We will deliver an epoch-changing game that there is no chance any of these guys could complain. Massive in scope, amazing content, amazing story, multiplayer down to its roots. These guys shouldn't even have an excuse to complain. With Microsoft money, that is the mindset you should have. When we have that guy,
they have the formula. Like, they literally have the formula. Make an epic campaign.
They don't have the mindset. They don't have the mindset.
I want to know what it is, and I want to get into that as well in this discussion. But when I think about it, if someone said, okay, Colt, we're putting you in charge of Halo, I would sit in front of the team and say, okay, we need an epic campaign that takes you across 3 or 4, maybe 5 different looking locations. The combat has to feel great, and such guy with that grapple shot, or girl with the grapple shot idea, that's amazing. We're going to do that, right? It sounds so easy over here. Me on a microphone in my game room, right? And then I would say, We know what's done great over a 20-year period. We know what multiplayer stuff is just kicked butt. So let's capitalize on those things. I watched an interview today with Forza Motorsports creative director where he says sometimes you have all these grandiose ideas and then you realize what can you cut down so you're not just all over the place. You focus on the best stuff, then you make that stuff hit really hard. And so, Gaz, they have this formula. They have 20 years of tried and true formula from Bungie and stuff that 343 has done that's been phenomenal in their own different categories. So
and then they faltered. Look, people say it's easier said than done, but does the game scream the mentality of ruthless? We are going to deliver. See, this is Sony. I have a lot more confidence in Sony. They would not allow Halo Infinite to release the way it has. I know they can't do multiplayer in any remote fashion, even close to what Halo Infinite has achieved.
Maybe now. I mean, Killzone was a really big franchise, and they let that falter pretty heavily.
Well, Killzone 2 was pretty good. It's a 92 or whatever on Metacritic.
I'm talking about Shadowfall in 2015.
Not Shadowfall. It's terrible. Yeah. No. Look, they can't do first person. Sony and first person shooters.
We had to have something for Other Sync to latch onto, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I wish he was at my show. He hasn't shown up in a long time. I got to see him in your chat. Other Sync, you're out there. Come hang out with us, bro.
Please don't. Generally, look, the mindset isn't the hunger. None of it's there. When Joseph Staten in this vidoc, there wasn't any of that. Look, this is what people say. Oh, they've been so like, what's that guy from Season Game? Oh, they've been so remarkably transparent. No, they haven't. Shut your mouth, man. This mindless capping of this quasi journalist talking nonsense, constantly excusing failures.
Hold on. I'll let you go on that topic, but. They have been transparent. They have been saying things, but it doesn't equate to like why that. Like they've said all these things, right? Hold on, I can't. Oh, I watched the thing down here because of the latency. Like it looked like you were talking, but your mic was off. I'm sorry.
No, sorry.
So used to seeing the live feed, like in the moment. They've had all these updates. They've said all these things. They put out the beta. They've done all these things, but still, like when they say things. That's what your problem is when people who are kind of defending Halo say
there have been people who have tried to be curtailing any kind of discourse. These people who I want to name to expose their constant gatekeeping of discourse, who have said stop critiquing 343. They need to be quiet. No matter how much you play Halo, you need to be quiet. You are not in the station to demand, well, especially in light of all the failures at 343. But look, we are where we are.
Hold on, I gotta say. Thank you for being here. We've got almost 800 people watching. I've got my gameplay. I gathered all the gameplay I've captured since the game came out. It's probably like a couple months. It's my review, some of my clips, a bunch of cutscenes. So this is all stuff I've recorded on the Series X, and I'm watching it while Gaz is talking. And I hope you are too. And I know you all know because I know there's a lot of people here who are on the side of. Halo is going to get better and better. And then there's the other side. It's like, just get rid of 343, give it to it or something like that, right? But I mean, you got to admit, Halo feels so great. And this campaign was really good. All
See,
right,
this is the thing.
Go back.
Like my review, I called it an incomplete masterpiece for a reason. Watching your gameplay now, there's so much potential. This is the best playing Halo, but there's so much. They did the hard bit. They were so close, yet they faulted in so much content. Like, how could you fault the story? Okay, that's a different ball game. Now, look. Now Bonnie Ross is gone. Well, first of all, let me just clarify one more time. I shouldn't have to clarify, but this is because I mean it. Bonnie, right. And the reason why I'm saying it is if Bonnie Ross is listening to this, I don't know if she would be, it would be very difficult, bless her, to listen to someone she doesn't know, like almost crap on her legacy. Bonnie has done a lot of things right. It's not easy to resign to defeat or to failure. Whether or not she views it that way, I do sympathize because I know without having met this woman that she cared about Halo. And Halo is no mean feat. You're trying to appease a very, admittedly rabid and, passionate fan base about
they are one of the most
Halo.
Fierce and tenacious. Let me read a couple supers, and then the next thing I want to move to, Gaz, you'll have to remind me in case we get off topic that I want to talk about who's responsible, because you just brought up Bonnie Ross. I want to talk about what Bonnie Ross did, what the developers are doing, and what Xbox is mandated. Let's get into that mess here in a minute.
So
But let me get the supers. But you're gonna have to remind me that we're gonna talk about responsibility. That's the word of the day, chat, is responsibility. And if you're enjoying the XNC podcast, hit the like button and shout out to over 700 people who are here listening to checking out the show. Hargeet Chani, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. And fittingly enough, Gaz, he has the new Cortana icon as a channel member. He says, quote, "I'm here to confirm that Gaz fired Bonnie Ross." Dylan Dodds, thank you so much for the super chat. He says, SOCOM is the only way I'd buy a PlayStation. I hear that a lot. People want SOCOM to come back. They want Killzone to make a reemergence, or Resistance. Resistance would be good, but we'll see. They've yet. We'll wait for that showcase. Good old Dave from the Outbreak Podcast. Thank you so much for the super chat. He says, Gaz, bring the sauce. You and Colt have nothing to apologize for. Sometimes the truth hurts. Halo will be better with the change. XNC rocks.
Yeah,
I gotta agree on the Halo will be a bit of a change, but I don't know about XNC rocking, but we're doing our best. Atticus with the $5 super. Thank you, Atticus. He says, if Nintendo is backing the ABK deal, I think this was a pretty salty play from Jim Crying Ryan to take Nintendo shine on their Nintendo Direct.
I love it.
We'll talk about Crying Ryan a little bit, but that news, unfortunately, for our show being on Monday, guys, that news is like 4 or 5 days old, but I know we're going to talk about it for a bit. Red Wolf said, I just came home from a shoot, saw that I had a party invite from the one and only Mr. Eastwood. I was so sad I missed the hangout. Next time, Red Wolf, just send me an invite when you see me online. We'll chat. I got to talk to you about videography. Risk It for the Biscuit has a channel member chat. He says, we all knew it was going to happen. I don't believe it's a medical issue. She got us to step down, and so dinged. This is Risk It's words, not me, all right? He said, ding dong, the witch is dead.
No, that's terrible. You can't say that. Even I wouldn't say that. Risk it is messy.
You know, we'll get into that as well, but a couple hours after Phil tweeted about it, Bonnie Ross tweeted, and there was an official statement. They turned off
and they disabled. Turned off comments. Why would you turn off comments if you're ending your legacy in a way that it's obvious? It's a reflection. That's how bad Halo is. That's what you need to do. That says it all. That they had to turn off replies. I sympathize, but I don't sympathize for the end product that is Halo Infinite.
Basically, like, Bonnie is stepping down, like, right now, as of like immediately. She's no longer heading the studio. She doesn't work at 343, and maybe I don't even know if she still is a Microsoft employee or how that works.
Well, effective immediately. Right. Now we have 3 new people. Her role has been split into 3 jobs. That says it all, nice. By the way.
It's got to feel nice. Yeah, but I mean, just think about it, because I know a lot in the chat are sympathizing as well, which is very cool, which says a lot about the audience that watch this show. But considering how immature we are, they are miles ahead. But Bonnie is at this moment where she's built a legacy. She's done big things for 15 years. Absolutely. And some things haven't been the best ever, but think about all of us who have worked at a job. I bet you if we asked for raising hands, right, that a lot of you have probably worked at your job. Close to a lot of you have worked at your job for 10 years, right? So let's say that you leave, and when you leave, the internet is talking about how trash you are and how they're glad to see you go. I can see why they shut it off. But,
that's terrible. And I try to appeal to the human element of it all, because my passion overrides sometimes all of that. But you are trying to attain the mantle of responsibility, and with that comes a lot of responsibility. No, it does. It comes with all the fame comes the opposite, and you have, when you take that role. And Bonnie Ross made the pitch to Microsoft. They're going to abandon Halo. She made the pitch because, no, I will make it work. I want to do it differently. And I want to be the George Lucas of Halo. That's either masses of hubris or massive aspirations. It didn't pan out. But she said that with her chest. I want to be the George Lucas of Halo.
Well, she was.
So,
I mean, George Lucas did amazing things at one point, and then people look at what he does now, and they're like,
"Yeah, in that sense, he's definitely the George Lucas."
The guy that made Lost. I don't know. We can have some fun with it as long as we're not too crazy. But I don't know. I talked to Gaz pre-show and I said, here's what we should do. And I'm like, you know what? I never tell you what to do. And Gaz like, I know how we're going to approach this, but it is a little funky. But let me read Hargeet's super chat, and then we'll go back to the word of the day, which is responsibility. Hargeet Chani, thank you so much for the chat. He says, I agree with Gaz. Need an interview going over the background of what happened at 343. We can guess based on information we have, but it would be nice if new management team comes clean, so to say. So I think Hargeet's asking for stuff that we don't, it's not really our business, but I don't know.
No.
So let's talk about responsibility, guys. What kind of things did Bonnie Ross have say so, and where does the buck stop? When did she say no? That sort of thing.
This is the thing. We have remarkable lack of transparency as a head of Halo because Joseph Staten, I call her the absentee landlord. Ever since the game came out, we haven't heard anything from her. And it seems like Joseph Staten had taken the role on, and I thought he would at least be the lead, but it's not him. So the studio veteran and production lead Pierre Hintz is now the studio head of 343.
Which sounds like the French version of the guy that leads Machine Games at Bethesda.
Yeah.
When I saw the name, I'm like, don't you mean Pete Hines? Pete Hines is on this? No, Pierre. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Pierre.
Yeah. So sorry, in chat, someone asked for the article where Bonnie Ross said that she wanted to be the Georgia Lucas. I've just linked it in chat.
Yeah, he showed it to me as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So Gaz audio is loud.
I just moved it again. You just keep going. I'll keep adjusting it as you don't need to worry about it. It's my show. Cool. I'll fix it.
Sorry, but
thanks, Lethal.
And I'll mention this in my video tomorrow. Pierre Hintz, and I was looking into it. Shout out to, I think, was it Nibble? Nibble was his name?
Yeah,
Nibble.
Nibble. I don't know when
Nibble,
I say Nibble.
Nipple. Let's call him Nipple. Nipple shared an article about who Pierre Hintz. Sorry, I'll butcher your name. He's the guy who was tasked with actually fixing the Master Chief Collection, and as we know, that was an uphill task which he managed to do after a number of years. No mean feat. So if someone knows how to deal with failures and fixing and righting the ship, it's Pierre Hintz based on that.
I saw a video of that. It was like 2014, and he was going around the studio smacking people on the back of the head, saying, work faster. And they fixed it. You have to wonder, like, what do you do? Like, you've got all these experts that know, like, somebody like Pierre Hintz, he's like, he doesn't know the code and everything. Like, he can't pull up the Matrix thing and fix it. But, like, what is he doing? He's like, stand over him going, no, fix it faster. But, you got a good leader and get people motivated. And maybe, I don't know. But go ahead.
It isn't just like a leadership role, though. This is actually a very good point about what is there? Is there some semblance of a fixed team? Because biggest problem, by the way, don't be under any impressions that these problems are going to be resolved overnight. Halo Infinite, and I'll say it again, will take about good 2 years to start to get to where it should be. But the problem that Pierre faces is the sheer number of contractors that are still at 343. And as far as we're aware, they're still relying on contractors. What that means, folks, is that they get these third-party contractors who are on limited time contracts. They don't even renew these contracts. They go there to do certain things.
They're limited on purpose. Like, you're only allowed to contract here for a certain time. Yeah, go ahead.
Exactly. And then what the problem with that? You don't get to build a team or a team ethos as a studio, like, kind of, you don't have the cohesion that you normally have, a culture. Exactly. And that's the problem. It has worked typically I think The Last of Us 2 was built by a team of contractors, but Sony was like, smacking down the whip harder, I guess. But even The Last of Us 2 faltered in many ways, I guess, narrative wise, but not in terms of game design and quality there. 343 can't do that. They haven't done it. They've struggled. So whether or not Pierre is managing to do that, I don't know. But they split her role into 3 people. So Pierre Hintz is studio head. You've got, what's her name? General manager of the franchise, Brian Koski, and business and operations lead is Elizabeth Van Wyck, which you asked me, what was Bonnie Ross doing? Presumably all the 3 things these guys are doing now. because like new studio lead, general manager, and a operations lead. There's a lot of logistics stuff that Elizabeth is going to be doing now. Bonnie Ross was dealing with all of that.
How much of Bonnie's time and energy and resources was directing this massive launch of a major premiere Halo TV show over the past
She mentioned that. So she mentioned that. She mentioned that in her goodbye note. I mean, there's explicit mention about the Halo TV series. And I thank you for everyone in the Halo community for your support. Halo Future's bright. I cannot wait for all you to experience what we have in store. Halo World Championship. Sorry, where was the? Oh, there it is. So I'm proud of the work at 343 Industries, Halo Infinite, Master Chief Collection, and the Halo TV series. So she was dealing with all of that. And well, I don't even. Well, listen. There's a lot. She dealt with. She was juggling a lot. There's a lot of conjecture. Well, we're assuming that these 3 roles have been created. Bonnie Ross was dealing with it, and I'm not saying that she couldn't obviously delegate these roles, but obviously she was biting on a lot more than she could chew because ultimately the product speaks for itself.
Yeah.
It's so sad for me people think I like dunking on it, like being like a loud, like shock jockey, as one quasi journalist who isn't worth his salt would say. But you know, it comes from a position of passion. If you're going to keep excusing failures and abject failures constantly, then I don't know what to say. I really want the potential for Halo was astronomical. People say, well, that's the problem.
I love Grand Theft Auto to death, and I critique the way they handle no campaign or single-player expansions like they did 10, 15 years ago that I love to death. I critique how they continue to support Grand Theft Auto Online instead of moving forward with Grand Theft Auto 6 sooner. You know, I don't like, I love Rockstar, and like Gaz can say these things. That's funny. Screenshot failed because it wasn't. This is during the review. I wasn't allowed to upload screenshots. Anyway, that's what Gaz is saying. Like, he's a fan, and you've got a lot of time. And you and I have both taken a lot of heat critiquing this iteration here.
If I go to E3 with you next year, and you are friends with Phil Spencer and Jason Ronald and Rubenstein, he's going to sit there, he's going to have a go at me for a half an hour. Like, why do you say the things that you do? To which I'll say, shut the Rubenstein. I'm talking the truth. Rubenstein sounds really nice.
They're very, very nice. They don't give a crap about that little scuffles.
I think they're quite real in the background.
Yeah, they got better things to worry about.
Yeah, and I want an opportunity just to talk to someone at 343. I should do it and reach out, but they stay quite mum with media and stuff. But
I would love to talk to Staten. It's Staten. I've been calling him Staten for years, but it's Staten. I think Joe is awesome. Oh, wow. I think he's so awesome, and he'd be so fun to talk to. And he's got such a long legacy. And I saw somebody in the chat. It was so long ago, I don't remember who said it, but said that Halo should have died with ODST. It's like, oh man, I love ODST, and Reach was so phenomenal, and the Halo 4 campaign was great, except for the Prometheus. I don't know. It's like, we're here. And we're sticking around, and they're moving on, but it'll be a couple years. I got a couple supers here. Risk for the biscuit. It gives me an Australian $8. He says, it's a horrible way to go out. I've publicly wished her the best, and I really do wish her the best as a gamer. Of course, I hope this drives Halo 4. And this coming from Riskit, who made the joke about Ding Dong, the witch is dead. Of course, he's not serious. Riskit really loves this series a lot. Riskit plays Halo more than most people. So, yes, very respectful chat there from Riskit. And Northbound Views, thank you for the super, says, enjoying the show. I watch every week. He says Gaz is making some good points on topic, but he's got to push his mic back because he's coming in louder than Colt. That was a couple minutes ago, but I'll fix it. I mean, I like Gaz loud. I like him just like burrowing into my ear. I'm not moving it much more than that. Just enjoy it, all right? And Red Wolf says, thank you, Red Wolf says, I sincerely believe they should get some Call of Duty devs to give modern progression, i.e. kill something, get XP, do objective, get XP, so forth and so on. Gaz, let me give you the response on this. We've talked about this. What do you think about what Red Wolf's saying about get some Call of Duty Activision devs on?
Just the basic Halo things, man. Just either you do it yourself or scrap the team. Like, you've got your flagship title, you've taken it on, do it yourself. Do it yourself. If this whole notion that, well, one of the things we entertained or were excited about when ZeniMax went through was that this technology sharing, id Software, we enthused or joked about the fact that id Tech utilized for, I'm hearing slip space is an absolute ball ache to work on, so maybe that could help. But talent is the key. So unless 343, well, the only way to fix this contractor problem is start sharing these people. Halo is a seminal franchise. Imagine you're on ZeniMax and you have this meeting and id Tech, and they're like, "Hey, Jerry, you know how to do graphics. Do you want to work with?
It's always
you want
Jerry.
to fix Halo?" Yeah, Jerry be like, "Yeah, man, I got mad ideas for Halo. What are these guys doing? Let me
And
fix
he starts
it." So
putting
maybe
in like emote dances and banana suits and stuff, making it rain
might
with
as well,
bananas.
because you got stupid cat ears and all sorts of stupid micro visuals now on Halo. What have you done to my baby?
You totally reminded me, because I played Halo with Hargeet and a couple of friends, Macbound and Assassin, and Hargeet set up. You'll love this. Check this out, chat. Hargeet set up. I don't even mess with this stuff, but Hargeet set up. He'll have to write in the chat, but he set up 2x speed, and I already have the field of view pushed way out, but he set up 2x speed when you're walking, so you're going really fast. Gaz, just that, we were shotguns only. Well, you were playing with us, right?
That's what I'm trying to. When is he going to figure out I was there with you, you pizza?
Oh my gosh,
when is he going to realize?
All the time.
The game mode we played was 4 of them versus just me on my own. And I'm like, how can he not remember this? It was 40-50, actually. It's quite close.
Dude, you did awesome. But the reason why I brought that, I'm so sorry, guys. I love you. Tell me that didn't feel like you were playing Doom when you're walking that fast. Oh my gosh.
Felt like Doom.
And I'm like, this is a slip space engine. Like, if I played that modded version of a multiplayer mode, I would think, why are we doing this in the base game? Like this, why not just emulate what some of Doom does? Emulate what some of Call of Duty does, and who cares about? I don't like that 343 is like, we got to go back to our roots and get Combat Evolved vibes, get them feeling 2001.
No, you got to be careful. Look, you can do all of that. Hargeet did it. Custom games is a big thing. There's no custom game like launcher and all of that. Thank you, 343. But game browser, all of that is coming. Where can we? Let's talk about a positive of Halo Infinite. Forge. Yes. Holy moly, is Forge insane. Like with Halo Infinite, Halo 5, the Forge, so again, 343 being what they are, they relied on Forge maps for their future rollout of map content, and Forge looked ugly. It was all, if you played Halo 5, it was all gray maps. It looked rubbish. Halo Infinite, the people who are playing Forge, not the developers, they're shocking 343 themselves with what they're creating. Do you see that there's a cyberpunk map that someone made? Insane. Shout out to 343, because they are the ones who actually built the tools for Forge in the first place. They do get the props for this. Incredible. Like, it looks amazing. A lot of, again, same quasi-journalists were downplaying the importance of Forge when saying you don't need to delay Halo. Look at it now. The same people who cried about, they made fun of Dr. Disrespect. I was a Dr. Disrespect day one. I said Battle Royale would be amazing for it. They're now pointing at Battle Royale. They're now pointing at Forge as things that will save Halo. And Halo Infinite and Forge, massive. The new Forge is almost like you're making games within it. So much like freedom in what they're doing. The fidelity of the visual fidelity, amazing. It challenges the maps that 343 themselves created.
Why are fans making more and more impressive looking maps than the team can make?
Excellent question. Excellent question.
That Cyberpunk one was amazing, although it's very limited probably. That Infinite Forge is made on Twitter. You can follow him, and he's got like a little clip of it. People make these really amazing things, like look what I made in Halo Infinite and Forge, and you're like, yeah, but do you get to walk like 10 feet and that's it, or does the whole thing look like that? I don't know for sure, but
no, it does. I think there may be it does. And 343, they did a recent video also showing why there's no, they have problem with static objects now. Well, not problem. First, every object was dynamic, so they had a very low threshold on how many objects you could create in Halo 5.
Okay.
Halo Infinite treats them as static objects. Very clever tech there. Just looks beautiful, and that's when that starts hitting in, you're going to start seeing these custom game modes. Halo's going to come back slowly, very slowly, but surely. It's going to build that goodwill. But there are fundamental problems with Halo, like netcode, like desync issues, Melee still being so broken that they came out and said, we have to move away the people who were in charge of fixing Melee to somewhere else because we don't have the resources. Like, that's bad. What are you doing, 343? So there are problems there. I will also say this one point where people are remarkably mum about it, which makes me question the sanity of all of you watching. What is happening with the campaign of Halo Infinite? You should be demanding an aggressive roadmap. Do you not want to see the endless, the stupid campaign, the stupid pilot? All of that needs to be ratified with a very aggressive campaign roadmap.
We got left
Why
on
is no one
a
asking for that?
cliffhanger with nothing to really look forward to as far as what the cliffhanger could be. Like, it's not like come back to find out if it's his baby or if it's his baby. Like, you don't even have that cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Like, we want to know what the endless is, and they just kind of, I don't know. We heard a lot of stuff was cut. Like, that there were other areas on the ring. And like, my first thing coming after my review settled for this, which is a lot of this footage you're seeing, was that I thought, gosh, why didn't we go to a desert location on the ring, on that chunk of the broken ring, and then there was like a snowy part of the ring? Like, where was that? It was just one location, and then the interiors weren't as fun. So where is the single player stuff, guys? When will we see the expanded campaign or the extended? I don't know. When is that going to happen? In 4 years?
Massive question.
In 2 years?
This 10-year plan is so embarrassing. When are we going to see that content? Because I don't know. I don't know. When are we going to see this? There's been no so when I did my review of it, I was expecting 3 months we'll see some inclination of it. 6 months at most. Bro, there's no mention of it. The only thing they would mention is a narrative event in the season 3 in March, but that alludes to a multiplayer thing. It doesn't give an indication. It's quite vague about what that means. So I do want to see content. We need to demand that, man. People need to ask for that. I know they have a lot.
I don't think we're allowed to ask for. Shout out to Gaming Forte. He says we'll see it when Halo 7 releases. That's my next thing I want to get to, because people asked about how I kind of covered that on the thumbnail. You can't ask for single player content right now because they can't even give you the day one launch content that it was supposed. That's still not here, and I don't think we're going to see what should have been at launch until spring of 2023. So I don't even think we're allowed to even ask what the roadmap is, a single player, until they deliver stuff before the summer of next year. So here's my take. People in the chat are like, Colt would ruin Halo. Like, you think it's good now? I mean, it is really good, but do you think everything was firing on all cylinders? Like, you have a little bit of Doom feel and a little bit of Call of Duty feel, and then you have the callback to Combat Evolved. You think that's a bad idea? I think it's a great idea, and it's something that needs. I also said something that people don't like. I said, I feel like 343 is not allowed to evolve Halo. Their fans won't allow it. They won't let them. Hey, we want to move the game forward. We want to modernize it. No, you can't. No sprint. We don't want this. We don't want that. And maybe I'm wrong.
There's a core gaming segment. They want sprint and all of that.
Sure, really, of course. Sprint's just a tiny part of what I'm talking about. I feel like if 343 had ideas to modernize Halo, which I don't think they did. I think they decided, hey, let's recapture 2001 and then let's modernize a couple of things, but not too much because we don't want to make people mad. And I feel like when they took the reins from Bungie and they became 343, they had this memorandum, like there's something emblazoned on the wall that said, don't change Halo or you'll lose your fans. And I mean, look at God of War. They tried not to change it, and then they were told, no, this isn't going to cut it. Change it, and they've really moved it forward. But my other take, guys, is that why not finish this last run, this winter update, and just say, thank you. Here's Halo Infinite. Here's everything that came at launch. And some other team is working on the next iteration or the next chapter in Halo, which could be like Halo 7, or maybe call it Halo, maybe be really cheeky, if I can use a British term, and call it Halo 6.
No, it's far beyond that. Look, they committed to the Slipspace engine. They built all this open world game.
Why commit to something that they can't even handle? They're having problems with it.
Unless the engine is so fundamentally broken that they have to absolve themselves from it, I think they're I think it's more just mishandling. Contractors combined with bad management, no clear roadmap, no real cohesion within the team. Because if Bloomberg's articles to be believed, these guys were scrambling in 2019 to get the content. 70% of the content was cut. All contractor problems, all management problem. They didn't have. So if you believe Jason Schreier, then and he does have sources. I'm pretty confident he's not making this stuff up. Then there's a story. There's a story about what went crucially wrong at 343. Something really bad went wrong. I'd love to know the story. And I will keep saying to everyone, you need to be relentless in your pursuit and critique of Halo if you want Halo to be in the state it deserves. I was arguing with people all day today in DMs and everything, and they're like, "Oh, well, stop playing Halo. You don't know. You don't even play the campaign." I was like, the guy doesn't even know who offensive bias is. Yet the story ends with reference to him. Do you even know what you should be asking for the content to be presented in a way that supplements your experience of Halo? There's a lot there. I'm very passionate about Halo. I will say 343 have failed at Halo Infinite. If they can bring it back, I will be one of the happiest people in the world. I made a video saying this could be the best Halo ever for a reason. I was still making excuses. This is 4 strikes, and I still give them, bless you, give them more chances. I'm thinking
so
enough.
Nice.
I don't know, man. I'm not nice to 343, but I want to sit down with them. I want to sit down and say, look, explain it to me. Look, at least are we not afforded this? Do we not deserve a little bit? You want us to have faith? Let's just sit down and have a chat. 343, if you're watching this, reach out to me on Twitter, please. We'll have a chat. If you don't like the way the interview went, you can ask me to delete it. But I just want to have the opportunity to sit down and talk to you. And if it's too raw, just say, Gaz, delete it. We don't like the way you're asking these questions. I'll do it. But I just want to have the opportunity to talk to you.
I think they'd go to Schreier before they went to you, bro.
But Schreier's a piece of... You want to come see me? I like Halo. I actually like Halo.
Just imagine, there's some great, really prominent Halo content creators in the YouTube space and on the internet, that could capture an interview like that. But that's a tough thing to cover. There's probably a lot of reasons why this isn't working out that nobody wants to say out loud.
My problem with Gaz is he's making the same critiques as everybody else, because those are startling problems, albeit no one is actually complaining about the campaign as much as I did. I was the first person to release a video saying Halo Infinite story is rubbish. He goes, he just wants to be incendiary. No, I want to get the answers right. You may not have actual standards, but I want to actually, as someone who cares about Halo and read the books, wants to know what happened. They don't owe you a sit down. I never said they owed me a sit down, but I want them to answer those questions. So you can sit there and postulate about me being fake or being incendiary for whatever reason, but I actually care, because this energy isn't just coming out of nowhere, or am I faking it? You can sit there in obscurity and talk nonsense, but some people on this space, you should be grateful, actually have the balls to ask the questions, irrespective of whether or not it makes people feel uncomfortable. That's what actually real journalism is about.
But what would it look like in the grand scheme of the games industry? What would it really look like? Because you could sit back and take some of the irritability out of it, right? Or maybe your impatientness or whatever your passion for
obviously,
Halo.
when I'm sitting next to them, I'll talk different. Yeah, absolutely.
No. I don't mean that. You would do an excellent job with the interview. I'm just saying, like, you made me think about, like, if Bloomberg sat down with one of the heads of 343 and said, you know, like, does one of those in-depth interviews about what went wrong. You could take a step back and say, what is everyone complaining about? They delivered a really highly rated campaign. They delivered a working multiplayer. Like, people were getting into matches just fine, and they had 20 million people playing the game in the first season. It would be hard to explain to the general masses in the games industry, or maybe gaming fans that aren't really keyed in really tightly with Halo. Like, what really is the problem? How bad is it? Someone will go, well, I mean, they usually get way more maps, and we only got 5 instead of 8. And someone might go, so? Right? Just hear me out. I'm playing devil's advocate. I don't mean all this. I'm just trying to think reasonably.
I know.
Like, if this was a big expose article from, like, Bloomberg, or from a big Washington Post or whatever, writing about this for the gaming segment, would it really be that big of a travesty? Maybe. And maybe if you angle the article right and the interview right, you could do that. But let me say something else that I've heard people say, but I don't totally agree with. Like, Halo Infinite does more than most games, prominent games. Like, somebody said this is not my words. Halo does more than God of War. It has a single player. It has multiplayer. It has co-op. Then someone goes, it doesn't have co-op. So it has been, it's got to be tough. It's got to be tough. And I think, Gaz, those questions that you or someone wants to ask really comes down to, in order to get to the answer, you have to air some dirty laundry. And I just don't think that's going to happen. Do you think that's kind of where the tendrils connect back to, is
Absolutely.
some massive problems,
Absolutely.
some drama?
There's drama. With these kind of failures, there's always going to be schisms. There's going to be drama. When Bonnie Ross actually came to sit down with Phil Spencer and Matt Booty, what are those two got to do with it? Well, and asked them to consider that. Has anyone actually asked? This is in my video. Has anyone asked what on 343 were thinking? Because they considered, Bonnie Ross asked Phil, we can just release the multiplayer a year ago. When the game came out a year later, it didn't even have playlists for Team Slayer. Big Team was broken for a month, let alone all the lack of, the complete desync issues, lack of region filter. She came to Phil and said, look, maybe we should just release the multiplayer possibly. Are you crazy? Have you seen the content on multiplayer when it launched? Even though it launched okay after a year, it still had masses of problems. It's battle pass prioritization and complete nonsense based on what they expressly said lie. And then netcode still goes to this day.
Yeah.
So there is definitely an ongoing issue, or there was an issue that maybe there were clash of personalities. There's something deeper there because the stakes are so high. The bloody game was on the box for the Series X, man, and it got delayed. It's not, there are angry, emotional tears, blood, sweat, all of that. I am confident, without actually being there, that's what happens. That's just the reality of how things work. The stakes are so high with Halo.
Yes,
and I sympathize with Bonnie with the pressure. You'd have to be made of stern.
It's a mini
stuff.
version of being asked to take on Star Wars. Like when Disney takes the reins of Star Wars, they have a big responsibility, and you have more chances to mess it up than to get it right. And Halo is not. It's not massive like Star Wars, but in the video games sphere, it's pretty big. I would say it's one of. It could be bigger than Star Wars. It's one of the bigger prominent things. Take over Minecraft to screw it up, but who knows? Let me read a couple of supers, and then I want to get to how we got to today with that discussion that led to that tweet today. But Danny Passion Official says, Gaz, I'm an independent filmmaker. If you hire me to make a trailer for your next film, it is not my fault if you decide to change direction last minute. I mean, do apply. Danny has a great comment. Do apply what you're hearing to your own job, or wherever you work. Like, what would it be like? And while you were talking about contractors,
I'd be fired.
Surprised you haven't been fired yet. But
That's true. If it was equivalent to my job, I'd be fired.
if you were talking about you were talking about contractors, and I've worked with multi-million-dollar international contractors on a project, and they were meant to only be there for 2 years. And when that contract was wrapping up and they were started to talk about, we were co-located in an office. There was 300 of us and half of them were contractors, and they were an integral part of our team. We were friends. We bounced projects back and forth. They did this, I did that. Everything was like interwoven. And then we were there for 2 years, and then it came down to like 3 months left, and they started talking about how we have to leave. I'm going to go work at a different office somewhere else in the world or somewhere else in the U.S., and I'm going to work on a totally different project. And that severed tie it's a huge interruption. And when everything's split apart, you're kind of trying to pick up the pieces. And Halo's their set part of their team was, we're going to have contractors on for 9 months, I think it was. And then they got to go. And you're just asking for a jigsaw puzzle to be shifted around and have to fix the pieces constantly. Where am I out of my...
2 a.m. and my neighbors were like, what is going on? What is that noise? I had my window open, and they're
while we were doing the show?
Angry horde of people outside my house.
One of your neighbors like yells up at the window, hit the like button. Yeah, no, hit the like button if you're having a good time. We got 300 likes. We got over 800 people here checking out the show. I'm Colteastwood. I'm here on the XNC podcast with my co-host Gaz from Game On Daily. We're live on the Colteastwood channel, but this is also on Spotify, Google and Pocket Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts. And most people are checking out the show on Spotify. It's cool. I actually see it pop up in my car when I'm driving. I'm like, hey, I know that show. It's got Gaz on it. I like it. But yeah, show your support and hit the like. Let me read this super here from... This is from Assassin, who's been a member for 16 months, and we were playing Halo the other night. It says, petition for Gaz to star in a Halo spinoff as the most loudest, chaotic Spartan in Halo history. Also, Gaz, how's your head after all those melees?
Is that Matt?
No, that's Assassin, the other one. The other one
was just melee spamming. Matt was insane. He's amazing at that game. Generally.
He's really, really good.
Really good.
We ran around. I can't remember what the map's called. It looks like the tech city hub, the little city hub. You probably know the name of the map. Anyway, we're running around in that with just shotguns, no reload, no shields, and Gaz got 40 kills. We got 50 as a 4-man team. We are pitiful. Hargy Johnny, thank you so much for the 5. Says, dang, I wish Microsoft or Xbox had allowed the game to be delayed until this fall. And I've said that as well, Gaz. We said it last year, and people, they hated us. Raiden Blade with the 2-pound super. Thank you, Raiden. Says, hello, Gaz. I'm fighting sleep, bro, just to watch.
Oh, bless you. Bless you. I'm fighting my neighbors in a bit. Thank you for watching. Smash that like button.
It's going to be a Molotov cocktail coming in through the screen window. Hargy Johnny with the $10 smash the like. Smash the like button or smash your head in. Thank you, neighbors. Hargy Johnny with I shouldn't have said that. Was very violent. The Molotov or the smash head in? Both were violent. But Hargy says, issue with 343 is not about doing what other studios can. They set the expectation by telling us what they'll deliver. And then they fail to deliver. Totally okay if they set the right expectations. So I'm going to ask you guys to kind of play pretend and tell us what you think the conversation was that went down over this past probably week that led to Bonnie sending this tweet.
Well,
think about your experience in the professional realm. Like, how did this come about? Because they did that stream where the
works. The failures have been quite. Look, the thing I sympathize is Bonnie Ross actually is very vested in Halo. She made the pitch for it. It must have weighed her down. It must have weighed, because if you last week and all of it, fire Bonnie Ross, fire. People will blurt that out. Even I didn't say fire Bonnie Ross because I think that's a crazy thing to ask for someone's job to be lost. I did say management should be accountable, which is, I guess, in a roundabout way, you could argue that that's what I'm saying. Is like, look, if management accountable, they're not good at it, get rid of it. It's really bad. Like, it's harsh, especially for someone who cares. But at the very, ultimately, you as a manager should know that, look, I'm not doing right by this. Maybe I should step away. These things don't just happen instantly. I'm praying that That doesn't sound like there's, well, the framing of the wording is she had family issues. They don't sound serious medical emergency. It says family
Yeah, I mean,
medical
we're just
issue. Could be
guessing,
anything.
but isn't
But I hope it's nothing major.
isn't the I have to go right now and I have to step down. I've got to take care of family. Is that a good way to protect the sanctity of the name of Halo and maybe protect?
I mean, who cares
the
about the
stock
sanctity of
investment?
Halo when it comes to your family? Look, when it comes to family,
Sure,
forget everything.
sure.
Especially Halo. Just.
But
whatever,
if she says I'm stepping down a week after one of their major like negative reports, I suppose. Like
Look,
someone said, is this their way to protect
timing,
the
people
stock
might not like. Yeah, well, I
and
mean,
get the investors like scared or what? Is there any merit to that?
I think so. I think people may not like that answer, but I think absolutely so, because her stepping down is an admission of failure. But she says, while I'd hope to stay with Halo until we release the winter update, I'm letting you know that I'll be leaving to attend a family medical
I also
issue.
think whatever's going on with her family is 1,000% true, and this is the perfect time to say, you know what? I've been needing to get back to my family, and this is super important. And think about the quality of life, how difficult it can be when you're running something that's worth multi-million dollars, and the pressure that's on, and whatever's going on with her family. I bet she was thinking, oh, this is probably the most important change, that it means more to me than anything. Is that fair enough to say?
Well, we don't know. And then, look, we'll give her the benefit of the doubt. It's Bonnie Ross. She has a legacy in this space. We should respect her. I'm praying the family issues aren't serious, but it may just be the case that, look, I can't be in the mind frame with just, ex-relative having these issues. I'm getting berated by the Halo community. I'm getting pressure from Xbox management. I'm just not in the right headspace. I can't tolerate a winter update and wait for this.
And
that's
deal with my family
wait.
problem.
Deal with all of that. I can't.
Yes.
I just need to step away, hand in my resignation, and look. We've been having. Look, you appointed 3 people effective immediately. That doesn't happen overnight. Obviously, you have to gear up, deal with handover, logistics of all of it, and you've carved out 3 separate roles. So she had to be with family, and 3 people immediately took on these segmented roles. Come on, these
people have been doing a lot of that heavy lifting along the way, I'm sure, right? I haven't looked into the names and what they've been doing in the past, but
the names admittedly weren't instantly recognizable. But when I did read up on Pierre Heinz, for instance, then did instill some confidence in that, and that kind of changes what you need. So hopefully we get that change. It will take time, but Halo deserves much better. And if Halo can come out and become a massive success, like the No Man's Sky equivalent of and that's what I'm praying, then that's a very human story that's coming to attain the quality that we expect. Then yes. In the chat, Sweeping Vistas, thank you for the $2 super chat. Goes, Gaz, are Halo fans too passionate? Often yes, and I'm startling example of that.
Yeah, I should also say, when I said like close this winter update up and move the game to a different team, I don't like truly mean that, because I also really know that it'll be too late. But when Halo Infinite becomes what it truly is supposed to be, it's gonna be fantastic. But it just sucks that one thing that I said in 2021, mid 2021, was I said out front, I said Halo needs to come out the best it can be, like when everything is all ready to rock. And people said, you're being selfish. You can just wait to play it when co-op is there. And now we're kind of in that situation. And I think a lot of people have apologized for attacking people with that stance. But let's see, Bradley Carter says, thank you with the super, Bradley. He says, I would give Halo to Treyarch to make Call of Duty a Spartan game, the last PlayStation game under contract. A Call of Duty Spartan game is what Call of Duty / Halo game. I would play the crap out of that. I was also making jokes that I would love for Halo Infinite's Battle Royale to be very much Fortnite-like, where you could buy and play as different Xbox IP characters. Like you could bring in Doomslayer or pay for him. You could bring in the Skyrim dude, or you could play as Marcus Phoenix, or it goes on, or Indiana Jones or whatever it's going to be, or the Fallout character, Fallout character with a vault suit on and some armor. And I thought it'd be really cool. But then some of my friends were like, "No, Cole, I don't want Halo Infinite Battle Royale to be cheesy. I don't want it to be goofy and not on what do you call it? Not on
kind of
lore. But I think it'd be so fun."
You're talking about a first-person Fortnite almost, but the Halo with a Halo slant. But yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think
in the
I
chat,
think we've buttoned that up pretty well. Let's move on for 343. I will end
with this though. The Rambling Gamer guy says, I think the saddest part about this is Bonnie was a legit Halo fan and wanted to continue it, whereas Microsoft didn't. It just sucks that the tenure didn't see the franchise maintain its peak. That's where I sympathize with Bonnie. But perhaps there may be some reprieve if 343 does deliver a Halo Infinite that's stellar. That part of Bonnie's legacy, then she can maybe rest on it. But I'd love to have a chance to speak to her about it.
Yeah, let me read a couple supers that will close up this. Raiden Blade, who's been a channel member for 14 months, says 343 needs to stop talking, stay quiet, and just work on the content. Hire developers to create more content faster than it took Bungie's 3 years for Destiny. I don't know, but then other people, Raiden, are asking them to be more transparent, more communicative, and they've done some of that. So I don't know. I would err on them. Just continue to let us know what's going on. But as far as them telling us what's wrong, I just don't think that really happens, and it's just not really how it goes. Let's talk about There's a couple things. Atomic Heart has been rumored to be delayed, and that game was supposed to come out in December, and it's the BioShock meets what would you call it?
It is like a BioShock Infinite meets, I don't know, it's weird as hell.
Meets like a Doomish Dead Island, like there's like androids you're destroying. But a cool announcement that, thanks to Jez Corden and Rand, I gotta say this. I really like these two guys a lot. But I got some. I get these emails from time to time that kind of give me an idea of what's coming up, and we're under. It's just kind of an unsaid thing. Just don't say anything. When we're ready, we're gonna send you something, and then we'll tell you what the agreement is, and you sign it, and you sign your life away so you don't break it, or else you get sued. But I guess some stuff had come in that I heard about, and Rand and Jez said today on their podcast that they're like 100% sure that Deathloop is dropping on Xbox. It's dropping on Xbox Game Pass on September 20th. And so this is the one where everyone thought, PlayStation paid for a year and a half, or maybe it's 2 years. Who knows when it's coming? What are they going to do? Are they going to wait? But sounds like, and I'm just going to go off what they're saying because they were smart enough to talk about it, I guess, is that it's definitely coming on the 20th, and they're not going to have some big marketing month-long push. They're just going to, that week, they're going to say, here it is. Here's this second half of the month of Xbox Game Pass's titles, and Deathloop is going to be sitting right in there, and it'll be fully playable with super resolution on the Xbox Series S and X. So, I don't know, Gaz. I want you to try this one. This is like kind of your jam. It's a rogue
game day one. I bought it on PC, but I kind of fell away from PC gaming. That's why I'm not playing Apex Legends, because PC's giving issues. But Deathloop's a really good game.
Yeah.
If it's on Game Pass, I will actually complete it, because I deleted it. I installed it on my Steam Deck, but it's not the same. I want to play it on Xbox. If it's on Game Pass, I will play it. But yeah, no, honestly, you guys need to check out. If you really love, you know what you're getting with Deathloop if you play the previous games from Arcane. But it's really good. And if that's true, and Jez is pretty spot on, and Rand with their predictions, but they have their sources, so I imagine this is true as well. Then September 20th, in 7 days, you're telling me we can get.
So I can't remember if it was the 18th or the 20th. I think it's the 18th.
Oh wow! Even
hold on, I'm not done with my sentence. Sorry, I always do that. I lead in the wrong direction. I think PlayStation gets it on PlayStation Premium on the 18th, but it might be the 20th. But what I think it is, I could look it up, but come on now, we'll hear in like a few days. Is that I think we're probably going to see it drop on Xbox Game Pass and PlayStation Premium on the exact same day. So Those who are paying for the extras on PlayStation will get it right on. And the ones who never got to play it on Xbox will get it there on Game Pass. And I could have bought it on PlayStation, but I knew I was going to wait. So Red Wolf, who with the $2 puts in an Assassin's Creed remaster, and that's one of our topics. This is 5 days old, but can we just say for a minute, let me grab this tweet that I did that actually has the numbers. That Jim Ryan was bawling his eyes out about Call of Duty possibly leaving Game Pass. And I know this has been talked about a lot. It broke while I was at PAX and stuff, right? But let me find this tweet where I broke down some numbers. Oh, gosh, this is great. And then I'll give it to Gaz. The reason why I'm bringing it up is I'm going to explain to you right now why Jim Ryan had to go out on a limb, look like his shirt was too small and covered with tears, why he had to cry that PlayStation might lose Call of Duty, that the very prospect, okay? This is what I found out by doing a little bit of research. In 2021, just Call of Duty hit number 1 and number 3 next to Madden, which is number 2, as the top-selling game on PlayStation. That's in 2021 on the PlayStation 4 and 5. The top 3 selling games are number 1, Call of Duty Vanguard. Number 2, Madden. I think it was Madden 22, whatever they called it. And number 3 was Call of Duty Cold War. The top 3 selling games. It wasn't the PlayStation bangers. Now, here's the rest of my tweet. Minecraft is the number 1 best-selling game of all time on PlayStation, next to GTA 5, which is number 3. Next to GTA 5 is number 2. Sorry, I didn't write all this down, but I remember it. Number 3 best-selling game of all time on PlayStation, you're not going to believe this, is the former Xbox Time exclusive, PUBG. Okay, wow. One more for you. This is why Jim Ryan said, please don't take it away. Please, Eddie. Number 6 most sold game on PlayStation of all time is Call of Duty Black Ops 3, only being beat in the numbers like 4 and 5 are Grand Theft Auto 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2. So the number 6 of all time is Call of Duty Black Ops 3. Number 1 is Minecraft. And number 3 was PUBG. I don't know if that comes across as I'm saying this. I wish I could put it up on screen. I could if I was more savvy with this new setup. But Gaz, what are the top selling games on PlayStation every year, if you were to say it quickly for those who are just catching up?
You just told everyone.
I mean, it's a multi-plat.
Call of Duty, Madden, all the multi-plats. Look, if Jim Ryan's desperation in his statements and if that isn't an indicator, so this is very uncharacteristic of Sony. 3 generations or four, like, look, in all the generations, this is the 5th generation. For the first time in record time, I've never seen PlayStation execs like this. I've never seen them look or appear so weak like this. That this, you have to remember, when Xbox 360 was the day, Ken Kutaragi mocked Xbox, said, we're a black belt. They're not even brown belt yet. I guess now you're sitting here with burn marks on your knees, begging for bloody Call of Duty to be multi-platform, saying that it's inadequate. 3 years of COD in addition to your pre-existing contractual obligations up to 2024. You're so desperate. And then they say it's inadequate for our gamers. Like, Microsoft owes you a responsibility. Have no pride. Like, all that doesn't matter anymore. That corporate pride. That you're demanding your competition, which, may I add, is spending $70 billion for you to sit there and say, look, it's not good enough. We want the best quality COD game, which is going to be an Xbox first-party game. We want the best quality Xbox first-party game experience on our PlayStation platform. And it just looks weak. Like David Jaffe was saying, like, just grow a pair. Like, it did. Look, you cannot deny that Call of Duty is a force. You've just read out what it is. That killed. I mean, the stats for the brigade that really loves these numbers as their narrative and exclusives that they rant on about it. The numbers say, and they love their numbers. They have quite selective amnesia about these numbers. Where's your number? Where are your numbers now about the relevance of these exclusives that you so desperately tout? Whereas Jim Ryan has said everything to the contrary of what you're saying. Sony has said everything. So it's poor form, but it's absolutely what Jim Ryan should do as well. Maybe not in the way he's doing it, but it shows that Sony and PlayStation are exposed. They rely on third parties. Call of Duty #1 and #3.
Yeah, and #1 was arguably the worst Call of Duty we've had in years with Vanguard.
Vanguard was #1.
The one thing I didn't do, Gaz, was I tried to dig into how many millions sold on Call of Duty Vanguard, because then you could multiply it times 70 and then subtract 30% and get like the basic revenue and just say, look, they make whatever the number would be, they make $250 million a year or whatever it is on Call of Duty alone, and that's a big thing to see that come out of your revenue. I also should say that I'm not even convinced that Xbox will even take Call of Duty away from PlayStation. What I think will happen, Gaz, I was going to look up the numbers, but I really don't care about the dollars because I'm not a financial analyst and I don't care. What I think is happening is, let me give you a visual aid. I think what will happen is Phil Spencer says, we're committed to keep Call of Duty on for the next several years. And that maybe that means 3 years. And people are like, Phil lied. But here's what they're doing. This is exactly what I think they're doing, okay? Phil's probably saying with Brad Smith, the CEO, and all the people who are making the decision, look, let's commit to keep it on PlayStation for a couple of years, and let's see how the performance does, and see if it outweighs if we should yank it or not. Pull it, pop it, squeeze it.
You're thinking the same thing,
dude. You're so great. And then it steered away from what could have been worse. Let's see if they yank it right now. Let's see if here's what they do. We sell the game on PlayStation, plus we have it on Game Pass, right? We see how much money we're making, and then if Game Pass is growing huge, just being on Game Pass, then they can take it away from PlayStation and see how many keep funneling and kicking up Game Pass. But if they look at it and say, we're growing, but we're just making so much money here for doing nothing on PlayStation right here, let's just keep it on there. We didn't commit either way. We said we'll keep it for at least the next several years, and then they don't have to say they're lying, right? Because really, who cares about what the fanboys want? Who cares about what Jim Ryan wants? It's when you look at those metrics in the financial spectrum and you're saying, look, we're making too much money off of the PlayStation guys, and we're still growing Game Pass faster than we thought we would with Activision in the pocket. So we'll just keep it there. So I think that's where we're sitting. Gaz, what do you think?
I think that's common sense. I think you can't when they see the sheer look, they have to
yank it,
break even with this deal. Yank it. They need to make their money. They've said expressly that it's not profitable for them if they deny PlayStation Call of Duty anyway. But I think that you're right. They're doing that. They're biding their time to see the metrics and then the money flow through. But they also understand, and I said this on Boom's show today, it makes look at the timing. You have 3 years on top of an additional 2 years. You're looking at the tail end of this generation.
Like 2027, right? Is what Rand has been projecting out. Yeah.
And there's a reason for that. When does Call of Duty being exclusive to Xbox actually have the most value? I'll tell you when you start a new generation. When you start a new gen, that's where people start. That's your best chance to migrate people. By then the deal is done. You start to market your Xbox, Nextbox, whatever you call it. Please get the name right for this one this time.
They won't.
And they won't. They'll mess it up. And then say Call of Duty exclusive to Xbox. When people are looking to jump into next gen, and I know some bit more
think about those numbers I was talking about. Those ranking numbers. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, where they're gonna go? Obviously, gonna pick the Xbox where. Depending on the pricing.
Isn't that what Jim said? He's like, if people think that if people think that Call of Duty is the place where you play, or if Xbox is the place where you play Call of Duty, Jim's like, they're not going to buy a PlayStation 5 because he knows. He's seen the numbers. He's seen the pie graphs. He's seen the bar graphs that say, where are we selling the most games? Where do we make most of our money? Well, now they're going to make it on consoles because they hiked the price up. But where are we making the most money? It's on Call of Duty and Minecraft and Rockstar games and Madden and FIFA, right?
Absolutely.
That's their cash cow.
So it is. And look, Jim Ryan's crying about the fact that they're getting 3 years. And I see you in chat. And yes, the hypocrisy is astounding. We're talking about PlayStation that's made it. It's like modus operandi to entertain timed exclusives to deprive its competing platform. I get it. It's stupid. And when Jim Ryan sheds those crocodile tears, I'm like, okay. But the deal's going through. The deal is 100% going through. The only thing to consider is how long will it stay for on PlayStation? I don't think it's going to stay for in perpetuity. That doesn't work. Can't have a contract or obligation that binds a party in perpetuity. They've offered 3 years. That's your baseline now. Say Xbox are seeing, okay, you know what? We'll make it 4 years of you giving an extra year of you giving us money whilst we incrementally build the goodwill on Game Pass as people start to see that all these gamers are like, why? Gamers are stupid, man. They're going to see people paying $70 on COD on PlayStation or whatever the price is on. I know people who are not gamers who are 100% doing it. So let them do it. Microsoft has already won this thing. People are, unless miraculously, in my opinion, the deal doesn't go through, this is a win for Microsoft, even if it's 5 years of COD on top of the 2 years on PlayStation. It's just a massive win. So the game industry is changing. Sony's changing its model. Sony's trying to desperately buy time to adjust its business model to catch up with a behemoth like Xbox. Because
games as a service, a service-based subscription a la carte with premium and extra, which they're doing, and putting their games on PC. So when you invest, $200 million, $250 million in a AAA game, if you could only sell 8 million or 10 million on your console, you can make a lot more money. Like Jim Ryan says, console's not enough. This deal with Call of Duty is not enough. That's a big amount of their money. Someone in the chat said, I should give you a shout because I don't agree with you, but I still like you. No, not in an angry way. It was a good. Gosh darn it! Wish I could find it.
He's always wrong.
No, Mav's never wrong. No, someone said they should make Call of Duty an exclusive on Xbox for 1 year. I'm like, yeah, you could, but that doesn't really work because Call of Duty is an annualized game. It'll move to not an annualized game, but people want to be in there playing that multiplayer day one. And Xbox has got that proposition that you can play anywhere. And I tell this to people on Twitter all the time. They get so mad at me, but I say, hey, look, Xbox lets you play your games everywhere. I've actually been saying this for 3 years. I have videos saying it.
I saw
they let you play everywhere except for a PlayStation.
On my PlayStation. Like,
they let you play everywhere but a PlayStation. And I said, if you don't like the Activision Blizzard and King deal or you don't like the Bethesda deal, you probably shouldn't be playing on just one piece of plastic because that person refuses to play on PC. That person won't play on the cloud. That person won't buy a Series S or a Series X, which you can find. They only want to play on one place, and that's just not going to work anymore. And that's a part of that other tweet where I said, if platforms decide to only put on one piece of plastic, we're doomed because it's expanding. Games are big, and Phil just wants you in the ecosystem. Like, he's letting you play all these places, but you're still buying from their store. You're still playing on their devices. You're still on Xbox Live and all that stuff. So, yeah, you're right, guys. It's moving forward. A couple of supers here.
Right, go for it.
A couple of supers here that'll just get us in the next thing. But Jeremy G, thank you for the super. He says, if the deal doesn't pan out like Jim Ryan wants, what can companies like Microsoft buy with over $60 billion. I'm not sure if he wrote that. What can Microsoft buy, or maybe what other companies can Microsoft buy with over $60 billion? Yodani Kazana just gifted a Colteastwood, he said 5 memberships.
You need to activate people in the chat to be able to accept that, by the way. But,
yeah, go activate that. What that does is get you access to the community tab where you'll get an update when I put a video out there at like 10, 11 o'clock at night. And it doesn't go up till like 8 or 9 in the morning the next day. So you get to watch it early. Also, you're in a pool where I draw for merch of your choice. Like I have all these t-shirts on my site, but I don't say, I'm sending you this one. I send you a link to the store. You can pick whatever's cool. There's some X&C, some cult stuff, and some gaming related stuff. So I was like, hey, I really like that. Now I don't have to walk around with a picture of Colt's face on my chest. You don't have to do that. But yeah, thank you so much, Udani. What did Gaz just write? I'm naked again. It's classic. Hargy, like 20 minutes ago, put out 3 codes for
crazy.
2 of them for Halo credits for 2,200 in credits, so you can dress up your Spartan and put little bunny ears and cat ears on them, and then one for Assassin's Creed Legendary Collection on Xbox. So
it's ridiculous.
We got to say,
guys are ridiculous.
We got the best community. We have over 800 people watch the show. Get that like up to 500 if you want to see Gaz wear his hat backwards. Gaz, let's talk about this Ubisoft thing. I kind of want to go toward like one franchise. I think some of the other stuff might be a throwaway to most. In fact, as Gaz gets ready and licks his lips to talk about this Ubisoft event, what were some of the things other than Assassin's Creed that you were actually interested in at the Ubisoft event? Gaz, let's talk about Assassin's Creed 1, 9, 17, 42, Retrograde, ABC, Retrograde.
There were so many. I'm not.
Tell us the good and the bad, bro.
The good is there are a lot of Assassin's Creed games, and the bad is there are a lot of Assassin's Creed games. No, no. I mean, the show to me, I thought was very poor. Admittedly, I'm not the biggest
like the host,
Ubisoft fan.
You like the host?
Oh my god, that guy! The guy with the coat who just
the guy that loves everything.
Something. And he's like, I can't wait to play the X game. I can't wait to play X game. Do you even play games, bruh? But that guy, the main thing takeaway from that is, and I'm not a big Assassin's Creed fan because I feel like the franchise man over-engineered some of its mechanics. I loved the first one. It's the only one I completed, and I almost completed 2, but then I kind of like fell away by it. The early onset of the Ubisoft fatigue actually hit me quite early, but I like the vibe of, you know, like this one.
Let's talk about Basim. Let's talk about Basim.
So, I like that. You don't have like you make your own character. They've fixed character. That means there's curated narrative tightly woven for Basim. Middle East for me, like I just like it's amazing. Baghdad, I just love that setting. And if you're like I'm not from the Middle East, but you're ingrained with that culture, you can tell they've done it really well.
You're a bit of a history buff, but tell us. We were on the show with Saif, and he was talking about how it's in the Islamic Golden Age. Like, paint us the picture of what Basim's world would be like. How violent, how great are the dates?
Yeah, I mean, people don't know the history of Saif is Iraqi, and Iraq when you had that's the cultural hotbed. That's the first university was in Baghdad. There was a lot of exchange of information. Yeah, okay. It was there, like at the peak.
What was the weapon of choice over there? Do you know?
PlayStation games.
Gas.
No, so like just thematically, and it was the Arabic accents were on point. The theme was on right. It wasn't a desert, and then it's just like Arabian nights. It was like more
bro. Hold on. There is a meme that somebody did on TikTok that shared it around social media where they said every movie when they go to the Middle East, and it was popping up little panels where the guy was like playing like a, and then they showed the heat waves. And the guy goes, yeah, and it was somebody from the Middle East that made it, and they nailed how like American Hollywood sets up it's so funny. And then I see this Basim thing, and I'm like, I'm such a fan of the first Assassin's Creed. Altair was cold and calculated, and you had to earn your way up. You couldn't climb wherever you wanted to go. You really had to work and get your fingernails dirty, minus one ring finger. So, I'm looking forward to it, bro. And I know you say you're not an Assassin's Creed fan. I hope this brings you in, bro. So that's good.
My friend works for Ubisoft, so I might just pay him a visit and play that early. But that game, look, for me, I wanted a hard-hitting stealth. Strip out the nonsense, go proper raw. And it looks like they're going back to the basics. One thing that annoys me, though, is whilst Basim's Assassin's Creed Mirage is doing that, there seems to be a bit of schizophrenia with the direction, because on the back of that they announced the thing that a lot of people have been asking for.
Oh yeah, there's a fix for that. Yeah, there's a fix. Go ahead.
And that's Assassin's Creed Japan. Assassin's Creed is finally going to Japan. No, what were you thinking I was saying?
Well, there was a 18 plus rating that went out, and then it said it had gambling, which was like real microtransactions. Clarified. Then they clarified and said that was a mistake when we were posting everything. It's all been ironed out. So so Assassin's Creed Mirage with Basim looks cool, and then they do what everyone's asking for. So go ahead. Yeah,
which is Assassin's Creed Japan, which is quite interesting because, and we said this on when we watched it live, how are they, because it's going to be weighed up against a very stiff competitor, Ghost of Tsushima. And that game, like, for someone who doesn't like the Assassin's Creed formula, I really enjoyed Ghost of Tsushima. It's a beautiful game. It's going to inevitably be.
Hold on. There's people who are like, where is it? Broken Skull says, what, ninjas, and you waste it on an RPG instead of stealth? I could guarantee that will be a stealth-based open world RPG. Like, they said it's a premium open world RPG, which I think it was their way of saying, did you like Assassin's Creed Odyssey? Well, not everybody did. I loved it. But it's the Ubisoft Quebec team that made Odyssey, which is really good. Please play it. But you get the feudal Japan thing, and of course you're going to be sneaking in the shadows and stabbing someone with a katana. Is Zocker in the chat? Someone says, what's up, Zocker? Zocker needs to write what he's thinking about Assassin's Creed Red. Yeah, because he's a big fan of Quebec's team at Ubisoft and Odyssey. So he says Odyssey's the best.
He says Odyssey is the best Assassin's Creed.
So
I'm the
good.
last person to talk about Assassin's Creed, so I kind of like weigh in on, and I resign to your judgment on that. But I find it quite interesting that if you look at the YouTube comments as well of Assassin's Creed Mirage's CGI trailer, normally people just ask like, ugh. And I was like that. I was like, where's the gameplay? Shout out Infinite Umbra. That you'd expect people to deride it, but if you go on the YouTube, people are so happy, so grateful. They're like, oh man, this is exactly what you needed to do. Go back to its roots. I love this trailer. I felt it. I was emotional when I saw this trailer, and I was just like, holy, like.
I wanted to see. Genuinely... Of course, they should have shown something, but on the other hand, let me make an excuse. I already know that team can make the Assassin's Creed games look phenomenal, and they always feel phenomenal. Yeah. So they could have shown some gameplay, and maybe it's just at that point where it doesn't look rounded off enough or polished yet. And I don't blame devs not wanting to show gameplay a little bit early. It's a bloodbath when you do. If you're not quite buttoned up, they'll find that one moment where part of the cape or the clothing clipped over something. They're like, trash. But it's a cross-gen game as well. So what do you expect? Yeah.
No, it is cross-gen, which I found a bit disappointing. But like you said, the games, I think you said this yesterday, you hold them in high esteem. You think they're some of the best visually proficient-looking games as far as the environment and the world is concerned. So I guess they can make it look good. It's more the gameplay that I'm worried about. But I'm not worried about. I'm interested to see, and the theme of it and the story. But for the first time in a very long time, I'm excited about Assassin's Creed Mirage, not Red. I'm intrigued about Red.
Oh, really? You're not super excited. I didn't catch that when you were first talking.
I was super excited about Mirage because I think that could really pull me back to complete that game if it hits the right notes.
You're thinking it's not going to hit as well as Tsushima, which is one of the greats from last generation.
The Japanese one, the Assassin's Creed Japan. I'm not saying that, but I think it has stiff competition because Ghost of Tsushima, not only was it visually astounding, the voice acting was really good in Japanese, and the
Well, I
theme
mean,
and the world.
Ghost of Tsushima was like on point for like the accuracy. I don't know what, like they did their homework. Like this team did their homework.
Yeah.
Like it feels like an authentic realization in that environment. But then again, so does Assassin's Creed. Like Safe was saying on the stream that you put up on your video. You guys could check out the trailer reactions we did. But Safe was saying how they do history where it could almost be a learning tool. That if they're covering that part of the world, you feel like you're gonna learn more about feudal Japan than you ever did, and then you could add that to what you did in Tsushima. So, yeah, I think it'd be. I
mean, the RPG elements of it kind of concern me. I'm like, it's weird. Like, you've gone back to the series roots. Usually, that signifies an acknowledgement that this is what the franchise needs. But simultaneously, you are announcing a game that does have the RPG elements.
I don't think that Assassin's Creed Red is going back to the roots. I think they're making this bare bones reboot, so to speak, and they're overlapping. So the feudal Japan Assassin's Creed will come out in 2024, maybe a little bit later, and then after that they'll kind of like build up what Mirage did, maybe that. But they're also announced this Hexes thing, which is like Blair Witch Project, which is like an open world MMO-ish or something like that. They've got their fingers all over in different ideas, and people are like, "What are you doing? This is one of the biggest franchises ever, and you're watering it down."
Well, that's what I feel like. I feel like you're gonna get a good Mirage game, and then the rest of it, so they're just trying to milk Assassin's Creed massively.
I think Red will be amazing and so will Mirage, but after that, I'm not quite sure where they're going. I'll say that much at least. And the other thing is, guys, that they announced today that they are jumping on the bandwagon of selling their games for $70 from now on. Yeah.
Their policy, they say, is reserved for big AAA games. So most of their games are pretty much AAA, but they're going to be $70. So there goes another one, people. And that will just add
How long
pressure.
until Microsoft says, look, we've got Game Pass and we've got all access and we've done everything we can. $70 it is, Jimmy.
I think it's soon. I think Microsoft will do it. And they've got Game
put
Pass.
It like
that's a good counter.
Early on in this generation, or you think they'll just wait for this generation? I think they're going to do it. I think in the early next year or so.
I think Call of Duty. I think when Call of Duty comes out, then they can't charge $70 on PlayStation and $60 on Xbox. So then
no, Activision games are $70. They wouldn't magically be $60 from now on. Now that Xbox owes them, that's my.
And I think that's the opportunity to raise it to $70 for everything wholesale.
And let it be known, guys, that when one platform lords over everyone else and gets to puff their chest and call the shots, they call the price. And Xbox faltering last generation and being mostly just sitting in the dugout for you baseball fans, it has pushed us to where PlayStation says we're worth it. Games cost this much now. We call the shots. And the biggest, who else has followed suit, guys, are the biggest publishers. EA, 2K, Activision, and PlayStation and Ubisoft, right? The biggest places that make games have been calling it $70, and so the little guys, if that's Xbox, they're following suit. So let's see, we got K Burke or X Burke. Thank you for the super chat. He's got a Canadian 10. This one goes way back to, actually these last two go back to us talking about Activision and Blizzard and PlayStation. But he says Sony reminds me of BlackBerry, the inventors of the smartphone. I never owned one. They laughed and didn't take Apple seriously while they were on top and collapsed trying to catch up. Well, I mean, the PlayStation isn't super modernized, but I remember that. I remember everyone with I thought their BlackBerry was a ridiculous looking phone. It was fat and chunky and had those big buttons, and I didn't want one. I didn't even want a phone back then, but you had to get one.
Sony is taking Microsoft seriously. When Microsoft opens $70 billion, it forces them to wake up. Sony is scrambling. It's a critical time for PlayStation. Irrespective of whether it's doing well, it's a critical time for the future of PlayStation. They have to do everything. They have to be strange. They have to deliver those kind of unique experiences that PlayStation fans associate. Not
They have to
just
be malleable as well.
Yeah, malleable is a great word. That's exactly what they need to be. They have to be flown like water. Bruce Lee.
I mean, we make the joke about Blockbuster Video for the people in the States that know about how they were at the top and they just stayed the same until they died. And it could be a hyperbole when you come to PlayStation. I think it's a total hyperbole. But PlayStation does know that they have some things that are like traditional and great and very successful. Then they're going to have to move those forward. And we saw them come up with a Game Pass competitor. They said it. They did it. And if you don't believe it, they're still buying studios, Gaz.
They're doing it. They're buying mobile. They're buying everything. They're future-proofing their business.
Games as a service. All the narrative that you and I fought when we get in the trenches and fight the console war. The narrative they said that we were wrong, that this isn't how things are going. They're doing games as a service. They're doing subscription services. They're moving to PC. They're buying mobile studios so they can bring their games to mobile. People didn't like that, Gaz, when I said, here's the big piece of the pie, and console is 25% of that pie. Everybody else is on PC and mobile. And they don't like that because they think the core experience is there on the console, right? But the core is not where the money is. That was a graph that showed where the revenue is every year. It was a 2020 or 2021 report, but I mean, how much has it changed, right, in a year and a half? But I haven't updated the graphic, but it's really where the money is. And unfortunately, they're going to make choices about the money. We don't. Mike with the Canadian, thank you so much, Canadian 10. He says, just some perspective, Xbox generated $16.3 billion last year with the ABK revenue. That could have been $21.4 billion or $20.1 billion with all of PlayStation sales removed. I don't know if $500 million is what PlayStation brings to the table, but those are numbers he put up. I wish I could illustrate that better. One more, Sweeping Vistas with Australian 5. Thank you, Sweeping. Says, you promised to fix the sound. The sound was fixed. You don't have to resign for family reasons, Colt. Oh, come on. I just should have read that ahead of time. Thank you, Sweeping. He's always here having a good time on the show. I'm so sorry. That totally derailed me. I thought I was going to have to go to the mixer and start fixing things. But I don't know. Too much Assassin's Creed. Gaz.
Yes.
Phil Spencer. Do that again.
Yes.
Okay. It sounded so weird for a second there. Give me a yeah. Phil Spencer is rumored to be heading to Japan for Tokyo Game Show.
He does this quite annual affair now, but it's quite interesting. Very interesting because, look, people laughed at the notion of Microsoft's efforts being wasted in Japan, which I'm always against the idea of. Let them waste their efforts. Let us get some Japanese games, for God's sake. And we're going wo long. That's day one Game Pass. Look, the fruits of his labor. You got the Persona games on Game Pass.
We got Gungrave Gore also coming.
When's that? Yeah. When's that out?
Is Colt having a heart attack? Maybe. I don't remember. Yeah. If I rub my arm or something. I try not to fidget when I'm on camera. Sorry. Try not to.
Oh, I'm fidgeting all the time, so you're in good company. But yeah, Live Supremacy says Phil's making deals, no doubt. Checking out Kojima's productions update and progress on what they're doing, no doubt. Thing is, look, if you're Xbox, you are seeing, even to this day, I saw, despite the fact that Xbox got outsold by PlayStation in US and all these regions, in Japan, despite being outsold there, they're still really close. The Xbox is still doing really well in Japan. I don't understand they must be doing something right.
What's with that? I don't even ask for this stuff, but what's with that string of people from Japan posting a picture of the Xbox Series S or X in their shopping bag, or right when they get home, and it says something in Japanese that I can't read, and it's just this is a trend to say, look, I just bought an Xbox. All right, hey, I bought one too.
It's quite weird.
It must be a really cool new. It's like a new product, a cool new product for them who normally don't buy a set-top box, definitely don't buy an Xbox. But
is it starting to have that iPhone kind of appeal? Obviously, that's a bit far-fetched, but maybe the appeal of the brand is there because the form factor is quite important for a lot of Japanese people. Although I will say the Series X also sold really well in Japan.
Series X isn't all that big. Series X is actually pretty decently small size console. And then for those of you who don't own a Series S, I don't know, Gaz, have you seen one in person?
What?
A Series S.
I've got one. I was supposed to do a giveaway.
Yeah, but have you taken it out of the box? Have you actually had hands-on?
No, I have seen it. It's tiny.
They are miraculously sized. Like how do I get this goodness in me? They're pretty crazy.
What, inside you?
That's an old quote from a comedian who's talking about Pop-Tarts. How do I get this goodness in me? Swin Difference with the $2 super chat. This is for making that sound. Colt, do it again. Or I do the old Top Gun.
The sound, Mike didn't even pick it up.
Because it cuts us back and forth. Yeah, it probably cut me off as well. So yeah, you didn't get your $2 worth. But hey, I'll dance for people. I really will. Gamer by Choice says Blockbuster had a Game Pass in the 2000s. Yes, I remember this, Gamer. Thank you for this super. Yet people complain about renting game subscription service in 2022. The irony is hilarious. Great show. Gamer by Choice is talking about in 2010 they had the summer pass or summer ticket, something like that. And I paid for it. It was $50 a month. This is what you could do, guys. I had a Blockbuster Video about 5-minute drive away from my house. You could go in and rent a 360 game, because it was back then, 2010. Rent a 360 game or PS3 game, or Wii, I suppose it was back then, but I was getting 360 games. Rent it, take it home, play it for 5 minutes, come back, drop it off, grab another one. You could do that all day, or you could just play it all week. Keep it as long as you want. Drop it off. Once you dropped it off, you could grab another one. And it was like that for $50 a month. You could just rent as many as they had in stock. And it was pretty cool. And then GameStop said in 2017, they were doing a thing called Summer Pass, where you could buy a game used and bring it back and trade it in for another used game. And it was going to be as much as you want. And then it never launched. Game Pass was just getting started with Crackdown 3 coming. And GameStop was like, we out. Like, they knew it. They were planning it knowing that Game Pass is coming. They didn't even launch the program. I'd love to hear what Forte heard behind the scenes about that. But I think it was something they wanted to launch, and they wanted to keep up, and it just wasn't going to work. Crazy. Great job, Gamers by Choice, for bringing that up. Red Wolf says, thank you. Red Wolf says, countdown 3, 2, 1, and both of you make a weird noise. No, because it'll just cancel us out. 3. I remember I was such a gem in junior high because I would just make guitar noises and trumpet noises in class, and people would laugh and say, "Oh, that guy, he'll never get a girl." But anyway, we totally got off topic. But so there's going to be some rumors about Xbox is partnering with some Japanese studios to partner with their games, help them market them, which probably means we're going to see quite a few things come to Game Pass from Japanese studios, which is something they need to do. But they'll also have a studio presence that they're building up in Japan. So, Pyros, shout out to Pyros for recognizing the final countdown. You're so awesome. Shout out to the Gen Xers who watch the XC podcast. I'm Colteastwood, and I'm super old, and I'm here with my co-host who's super young, Gaz from Game On Daily. Keep an eye out for their channel tomorrow. He'll be dropping a sauce video if he gets it complete. He's going to be running low on sleep, but also check out the content you guys have been putting out lately about the events, and you've been doing a great job. Yeah, just hilarious stuff. So I don't know, what can we expect from Tokyo Game Show? I think right now it might be a big shoulder shrug.
I mean, you've got quite a bit. Obviously, you're not going to get Final Fantasy 7, but I don't know what else there is. I'm quite intrigued to see what Phil does. It's been a work that's paid off. Persona, you got Wolong. You might see gameplay for that, more of that.
And what's that other game? The Battle Royale, Nakuda, or not Nakuda.
Hakuna
Hakuna Matata. Yeah, that's it.
Nakara Blade Point? Nakara Blade Point?
That's what I said. Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
that.
Nakara Blade Point.
So yeah, you're seeing these things come to Xbox, but I find it funny that people say. I find it funny that I look down on the playback and you're in deep thought. It looks like you're really having a good time, but people say they can't take away Call of Duty from PlayStation. Like, you can't take a franchise that's always been on a platform and yank it away from the customers. I'm like, and I say, well, you just described Final Fantasy, because Xbox has had access to almost all of the Final Fantasy except for some of the smaller spin-offs. I think most of the mainline games have been playable on every PlayStation or Xbox. And I did a count when we were talking on Party Chat a few days ago, where there's 13 Final Fantasy games playable right now in Series S and X natively because of back compat and what's available right now. And there's like 16 games on the PlayStation 5 because they have some of the spin-offs that never came to Xbox. So you're looking at Xbox has always had access to most of the Final Fantasy games. And then 7 is like, nope, sorry. So yeah, hypocritical, as Jedi Goalie says.
355 is the most egregious one in my opinion. Yes, they helped the funding, but so did Microsoft with Tomb Raider.
But they didn't keep Tomb Raider away. They just had it for 1 year. And when they say, how did you Tomb Raider? It's like, dude, it was 1 year. And then, and Microsoft helped pay for the development, right? I don't know. That's
so it's nonsense. It's just like, look, it's all corporate posturing, self-preservation, all of that. All I say to Sony is have some balls and deliver the great games that you tout to deliver. You can do it. If you put your mind to it, you can deliver a first-person shooter. That's why you bought Bungie. But a first-person shooter that can really upset. Because that's your narrative. Quality over everything. So deliver. That's what I want. I want Bungie to be exclusive to PlayStation, man.
Yeah, and I think that Bungie is going to consult heavily on some multiplayer game that PlayStation is going to make, but they're going to have another studio headed up because PlayStation I get so flustered trying to remember names sometimes. Bungie said that they won't make an exclusive for PlayStation now they bought in. They're still independent, but I think they're going to heavily consult and help on the multiplayer content side of a game. And then it'll say, maybe it's Housemarque makes some game. I'm just going to throw a name, okay? Housemarque makes some big multiplayer game, and Bungie will have a massive partnership help with it. But Bungie's name won't be on the game, and it can be exclusive. And then they could draw in all these people to play the game, and it'll go to PC, and it'll just have lots of players. And that's just how the world works. Let me get a couple supers here. From Assassin, who says, everyone hit that like button if you like this episode's serving of Coltsarella sticks and Gazanera sauce.
What are you saying?
Mozzarella sticks with marinara sauce, which is delicious and so good for you. Danny Passion Official, thank you for the super. Says, Gaz, send the files and I'll finish that sauce video for you. Bro, can you imagine that? But the thing about Gaz is he loves doing all the hard work and staying up till 3 in the morning.
I love the editing.
Yes, you're so good at it.
Next one, my source video is scope creep. I came up with an eye concept today. It's a bit crazy, which makes my life difficult, but please bear with me. It'll be great. It'll be great.
Yep. And we covered a lot of stuff. If you're just joining us, you're here right at the tail end. Bonnie Ross talking about her leaving and the impact and where Halo's heading. And if they're going to just go ahead and make a Halo 7 or if they're going to just, if they'll button it up or if they'll move on, I'm not sure. And, talked about Jim Ryan needing PlayStation. Well, and PlayStation needing an Xbox. That's really what it's all about. You have to have those guys around. We're going to need each other. And then we're all going to fight. It's going to be great. But Gaz, thank you so much for being here. Tell everybody where to find you. And they can follow you with the link in the description here. But now just do a little sales pitch about what you have coming in the next couple of days.
I'm going to be releasing on this whole Bonnie Ross leaving 343. I've done the video, but the editing, I have to go to work in a few hours, so I don't know if I'll be able to push it. But do check it out. It is not scathing, but it's quite critical of Bonnie. Please understand that I'm not going after Bonnie. Bonnie, I do highly respect her, as her pedigree is incredible. Just failed with 343, which is not easy. Got that coming. Got a source video in the works that's just quite ambitious, and just lots of content. Just check us out. Go live. GameOnDaily.com, the best gaming website in the world. Why are you not there? If you haven't registered, are you really a fan of our content? No, you're not. You're fake. That's right. You're fake.
Oh, the guilt trip.
Someone has to do it. But honestly, thank you so much, chat. You've been pretty understanding. And sorry if I lost my cool with that one gentleman or lady who was trying to suggest that my intentions in berating or critiquing 343 weren't legitimate. When you do that with me, then I just lose it. So I apologize. I have to be a little bit.
I lose my cool too when somebody challenges me.
Oh, you fake. Oh, you do this for the clicks. I just want to beat the crap on people. Like, what few people in the space that keep it real. But yeah, sorry. So maybe I don't feel that bad. I'm not sorry. But thank you everyone in chat. And Red Wolf, thank you for the $2 super chat. It says Ronnie, Boss, Rim Giant, and Sylv Spencer battle game. Have you swallowed?
Don't ever say the word Rim Giant ever again. It sounds so wrong.
Rim Giant. Oh, and my ex is messaging me. It's weird. Yeah. So
it was me.
My ex. You're my current. Watch it, Zoka. But yeah, thank you everyone in chat. Please do smash that like button on the way out and understand that I'm naked again.
Yeah, and thanks for putting up the show. I think everything kind of went off okay. I freaked out at the beginning. I did the show 2 weeks ago, and I had to move it to a different link. I'm not a magician for sure, but last week I was at PAX, hung out for the weekend, missed the show on Monday. Was at a ball game, just kind of relaxing, and I'll get back to making videos as I do here on the Colteastwood channel. Hit the like button if you're still here. Thanks for everybody. We're going to get out of here and get Gaz to sleep so he can keep his job tomorrow. But yeah, we've had a great time. Thank you so much. And I will hit the old outro. See you guys.
I'm naked.
Me too. Yeah.